Welcome back to part 2 of our weekly Raiderland Roundtable discussion here at Buffalo Wild Wings this afternoon. We'll get to relevancy weekend of the Big 12 here in a second, but I think Big 12 expansion is going to be back on the front pages again going into the weekend. You've seen a couple of reports this week, Barry Trammell out of Oklahoma and now Tim Montemor out of BYU country in Utah, Salt Lake City, both saying they're hearing more and more the Big 12 is not going to expand. The smart money probably still says that they try to. The October meetings are coming up. But I've been adamant that I still think, and I still believe this, that Texas and Oklahoma never wanted to expand. This was a dog and pony show. It was their way of saying we tried, we couldn't get anything to work out, and now everybody goes their separate way. I know a lot of people disagree with me on that, but I just want to point out that there is now more people coming out and saying they're hearing the same deal. So that, of course, means the Big 12 will expand by 8 teams later on this weekend, so stay tuned. I called it Relevancy Weekend for a reason, guys. Oklahoma's got Ohio State a chance to look better after that Houston loss. Texas plays Cal a chance to remain undefeated after the Irish win. I'll start with you, Scott. Is this the last hope that the Big 12 has this weekend to put together something to maybe get a team in the playoff?
Right now, your best hope is Texas.
God, that's scary.
It really is. With Shane Buechele and the 18-wheeler, that guy, and the swoops, and Texas can run the ball and gash Cal just like they did to Notre Dame, like they will probably do to Texas Tech. They may not have to throw a pass, but it's one of those things where I think Ohio State, there are too many similarities between Ohio State and Houston. Tom Herman.
It's a bigger, faster Houston.
Yeah, Tom
couldn't
Herman,
stop them. How are you going to stop the Buckeyes?
Tom Herman and Urban Meyer speak the same language.
Yeah,
literally. And so I think it's going to be tough for the Sooners. I feel really bad for Baker Mayfield. No, I don't. Sorry, Dave.
Don't hurt me.
But, he's not going out with him.
But I think Texas right now is your last hope because they're going to be they're the one everyone wants in there anyway. They're the ones who beat Notre Dame and are now 11th in the country. And now they're the ones that ESPN is going to hope gets through playoff because they've got a network behind them.
I was about to say, they're the ones who can be quickly resuscitated from stinking to, oh, they're the greatest thing now. When your name is Texas, they do that for you. I'll ask you again, Clint, can you even root for Texas to be relevant or just say, the heck with it, let them lose and tank the season for the Big 12?
I don't know. This weekend twists me up like a lot of them do because I sincerely biblically hate Texas. I really do.
Like Old Testament.
Yeah, like
Leviticus
fire
hate.
raining down.
Gotcha.
Yeah, and I don't like to be a Buckeye, but I feel like I kind of am, and a Cal fan because I hate OU equally, and when they play each other, I don't really know what.
It's like Red China and Russia squaring off.
But
hope for a nuclear tie.
Yeah, as far as the Big 12 goes, I know that in order to stay relevant, it's going to be one of those teams, and I agree with Scott. Texas has the best chance.
Yeah.
And you're right. They can go from stinking to the greatest thing in the world just overnight. And so I don't know what I'm going to do. I'm probably just going to throw my TV out the window.
It's a good call.
I think so.
All right, so relevancy weekend. You pay attention to Oklahoma for obvious reasons. Can Stoops pull one out?
I think there's a possibility. It's one of those situations. You remember back against Texas Tech, and I'm not bringing that up for any particular reason other than the fact that was the week that Bob Stoops kind of got on the fans and said, you guys need to be loud and you guys are boring, let's hear it. Some of the former players are bringing that up this week and I guess trying to bring back that magic from 2008. But I just don't see it against Urban Meyer. Urban Meyer and OU faced off in a national title game. Herman can obviously say, hey, this is what we did against them, and we didn't even do this, and we knew it would have worked. But I will say this, I still think Oklahoma has a chance to be relevant, and even some of the national people. Rick Neuheisel still has him in his Final Four. He thinks that if they run the table, they will make the Final Four, and that's all dependent on Houston. But I think Oklahoma has a chance at relevancy, and I really don't think it'll go past this weekend.
How did OU's defense look that bad? There are good players on that defense.
There are good players. Those Houston
NFL
wide receivers
bound.
are very large wide receivers at Houston. They don't look like a Houston wide receiver should look, at least in years past anyway. The smaller defensive backs, stupid penalties. I think that sounds familiar, actually.
Travis, you're well known for over the last several years prank calling DeLoss Dodds in the middle of the night, and I know you're not doing that currently as far as anybody knows. No. Your love affair with Texas, though, very well documented. Does it help Texas Tech in any way if Texas is good?
No. I don't think it helps them in any way. I think it helps the conference because you want that money from making the Final Four or one of the bigger bowl games. But I picked Texas to win this league at the beginning of the season. I really thought that they had, from a talent level, the best chance to kind of go out. And if Charlie Strong is anything what they think he is, he will be able to bring that talent out. That's where Mac Brown lacked. He got the talent to Austin, but he could never get it out of them outside.
Other than a quarterback.
2 really good years. Other than a quarterback.
Couldn't identify a quarterback. Got 50,000 people on your campus. You can't find one guy.
To be a quarterback.
Yeah.
If you're not named Colt McCoy.
Yeah.
Or Vince Young.
But, you know, they
title.
both kind of mentioned it perfectly. You know, y'all talked about the OU defense and what they gave up. A lot of that was on the offense. Mayfield made mistake after mistake. You had the special teams field goal go back for 109 yards for the kick return, for kickoff, field goal, touchdown, whatever they call it now. I don't want to be
kick six.
The kick six.
That's right, kick
Yeah.
six.
Yeah.
And then you also, what's the one thing that Tech hasn't done this season to a quarterback? Get in the backfield and sack him. Houston did that repeatedly against Oklahoma. Now, Ohio State, they can do that to people if they want to.
And will.
They're good enough, and they have the talent to do that. As far as Texas and Cal, I think you're talking about one good offensive team, one semi-good offensive team. Which one those are, I'll let everyone else decide. But I think what you got out of Swoops and what you've seen, now you know you can run a Wildcat, which, if anything for Tech, that is scary after what happened in the last game. That's your preview.
And I love my man. I love my man Sonny Dykes. Mustang effort. He's got to find some defense as this season goes along, or they are going to have a rough go of it. They didn't show it against Hawaii. Didn't show it really again last week. They got to put something together, and it's going to be hard to do it against a Longhorn offense that looked pretty salty. All right, we'd love to hear from you guys. All you got to do is drop us a line in the comments section. It's easy to do. Follow everyone on Twitter, including @Raiderland. Thanks again to Buffalo Wild Wings for letting us hang out. And, of course, our great corporate partners. If you're at home watching some games this weekend, you want to get some great pizza, go to Domino's.com. They will bring it to your house, and all we ask is that you tip insanely because that man or woman risked their life to bring you great pizza.